Hey everybody, welcome to Branding with OutsideAgents.com. My name's Chad Burt. I'm actually one of the owners of the company, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today to share with you some information that's really near and dear to my heart. See, I've been an entrepreneur since I've been in 4th grade, and I figured something out early on. You have to tell people who you are and what you do. You call it branding. Okay? In 4th grade, I didn't know that, but I started kind of figuring it out as I went along. And I'd like to share with you today some of the stuff I've learned over the past 2 or 3 decades. So kind of jumping right on in there, the first thing I want you to be acutely aware of is that there's exactly 3 ways to do anything in business. Exactly 3 ways. Not more, not less. Exactly 3 ways. Okay? You can do it yourself. You can do a little bit of help. Or you can have a pro do it. Period. There's only 3 ways to do anything, and that's true with branding and anything else. Okay? And this decision that you have to make between doing it yourself, doing it with some help, or doing it with a professional is really based on time, money, and expertise. If you got a lot of time, not a whole lot of money, not a whole lot of expertise, you're probably going to be doing a lot of it yourself and doing it the hard way. Okay? If you have a little bit of time, a little bit of money like most of us, you may be able to get some help sometimes, but you're probably not going to be able to bring in the A-team all the time. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have more time or more money than time, call me personally and I'll help you. No, I'm kidding. If you happen to have a lot of money, professionals are generally the best way to go, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to manage professionals because, folks, at the end of the day, this is your business, your brand, and your image. You have to get this right. You don't just pass this off to somebody, okay? You're in charge. You're driving this boat. Remember that. 3 ways to do it. Decide if time, money, or expertise are in your favor, and that'll help you understand if you want to do it yourself, if you want to do it with some help, or if you want to have a pro do it. So now, let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's start talking about branding. Okay? A lot of people think that branding is your name. That's just one part of it. Okay? One very small part of it, one element of your overall brand identity. Okay? So what's in a name? It's a label. It's a connection. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the past 5 years, there's been some really crazy company names coming out. Okay? They use that to get your attention. Okay? It's just a label. Okay? It's a moniker to associate with the values that you represent to your client. You want it to be catchy. You want it to be memorable. You want it to connect your clients with you emotionally. Okay? You want them to feel it's like they want you, they need you, they want to talk to you, that kind of thing. The most important thing in determining your name and your brand image is don't overdo it. Please don't overdo it. I'm going to show you a little bit later on how we started off, but do not suffer from, the worst disease an entrepreneur can have, and that's paralysis by analysis. Don't overthink it. Do your best. Take action. Make some observations. Tweak it a little bit. Do it again. It's a process. Okay? But what is actually in a brand? It's a combination of images, words, logos, it can be sounds, a bunch of stuff, but it combines to become a symbol of you and what you represent to your client. Okay, so the first thing you have to address in your brand is your UVP. That's your unique value proposition. Excuse me. What is that? It's basically with them. What's in it for me? You have to answer that question for your clients. Okay, they have to know why to call you. Are you the cheapest, the best, the fastest, the coolest, the highest tech, the lowest tech? What are you? What's in it for me? You have to answer that question. The only thing that anybody cares about is what's in it for them. It sounds kind of harsh, but they want to hear what's in it for them. So you have to express your value. You have to do that through images, and you have to do that by communicating with your audience, okay? Not just to them. 50 years ago, advertising was about big signs and neon and just trying to get your attention. Fast forward to the past 10 or 15 years, it became interaction, right? It became a dialogue. So your brand needs to communicate with your client, not just at them. I'm going to talk a bit more about that a little bit later on as well. So now, the next question is, so you've got this image that you've presented to your clients, right? You need to understand what the reaction is. Okay? You need to understand what would they think when they see your brand. So define your target audience. Now, this is not to exclude people, okay? What we're trying to do is think of a target. Think of concentric circles, okay? These are my ideal clients. These are pretty good clients. These could be pretty good clients. man, if I work really hard, these might be decent clients. You see, as you go further out from the center, they become less valuable to you right now. Doesn't mean they're not valuable to you down the road. It's just they're not your primary target at the moment. But once you kind of figure out who you're trying to talk to and what you're trying to say to them, make sure that that message comes across in a manner such that they understand that you're providing what they want. Okay? They have to understand what's in it for them. So speak to your audience in images, colors, messaging. Elicit feelings. The trick here, the key here, I should say, because there are no tricks in marketing, okay? The key here is connecting them emotionally too. Think about, gosh, I hate to do this, but think about the last drug commercial you saw, right? As they're going through all of the horrible, terrible side effects, limbs may fall off, your head may bleed slightly to the left for the rest of your life and all this. They have what? Pictures of people playing with bubbles and happy music and dancing in the sunshine. Okay? Those sounds, those images are influencing your emotions, okay, and helping you feel a certain way about the product. So as you present your image, make sure that you're not running against the grain of the audience you're trying to talk to. Now, I'm not telling you to be vanilla. Okay? Be unique. Have your own voice. Be authentic. For the love of God, be authentic. Okay? Be real. But speak in those colors, tones, sounds, and images that resonate with your audience. And above all else, it'll be the third time I think I said it, address what's in it for me. Now, 1,000 words, right? An image is worth, picture's worth 1,000 words. You have to create an image. Now, I want you to notice down here, I got a slide to the side here. There we go. There's a couple things down here, experiment, that I want you to do with Fiverr, Canva, and Tima. I'm going to talk more about that later, but don't miss that just because I'm sitting in front of it. But I want you to look over here on my left and take a look at our logos as they evolved over the years. This one right here took Steve and I almost 3.5 minutes in Publisher 98, I think. And we went to market with it. Yay. It's what we could afford. We chose the color, this lighter teal, because we felt that it was a more feminine, female color. It's typically associated with a female demographic. That was our primary audience when we got started. At the time, about 73% of all travel agents were female. So we kind of wanted to speak to that audience. We also wanted to suggest that we meant business, and we were a little aggressive. And so we kind of picked this darker red color, which is oftentimes associated with a little bit more of an aggressive position. Put them together, OutsideAgents.com. Over time, I added this little bottom line down here. I thought that was a stroke of genius, is what I had, right? And then, once we got past using our lunch money to start the company, and we had a few extra dollars, we actually retained a professional graphic artist who gave us this logo. Okay? So as you're developing your image, understand it's not set in stone. Okay? In fact, one of the best things you can do to get people's attention is slowly evolve your brand. I want to cite Starbucks. Take a look at their logo from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and 1 year ago. You'll see it's slightly different. If you go do a little research, you'll see that there was some pushback from their consumers each time they did that. And each time they did that, according to their own SEC filings, their sales went up. People noticed the difference. They saw the old colors, the old logo, the old shape. It was similar and yet evolving. It drew attention by changing. So don't be afraid to let things change and evolve. Don't do it too much, but don't be afraid. The main thing is that your logo brings your name and your UVP together. You have to keep it simple and clean. Too much noise in a logo becomes exponentially more challenging. Okay? The more lines and squiggles and details in a logo, the harder it is to manage. So keep it simple and clean over whatever you do. And explore. Go take a look at logos around you that resonate with you. And ask yourself, if they resonate with me, would they resonate with the audience? Shop your competitors. Okay? One of my favorite tools in the world is spyfood.com. Go check that thing out. It'll show you your competitors' positions in pay-per-click marketing, in organic, and in social channels, and so on. And it'll show you their ads that they're running, and show you how they're performing. Okay, so you might be able to infer how your UVP, how your branding might perform once you see how your competitors are doing. Are they similar? Are they different? Etc. Okay, So definitely go check out your competitors. Now, this next point is really hard for people to swallow. I've been doing this for a long time, folks. I can tell you with absolute certainty that what you like is completely irrelevant. Nobody likes to hear that, but it's true. Okay? I talk to agents all the time. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, are you your customer? You have to ask yourself, are you your customer? I would argue that 9 times out of 10, at least, you're not. So be careful when interpreting the value of your UVP, your branding, your imaging, your logo, etc. Be careful when you're evaluating it so as to not put too much of yourself into it. Remember, look at it through your audience's eyes. Now, don't pretend that you know everything about your audience, but just try to look at it like you were looking at it through the eyes of the people you were talking to. That's the most important thing when you look at it. So ask others for their input. Ask people who you think might represent your cohort or your target demographic or your target audience, if they like it, what they think about it. Now, no one person's opinion matters, okay? But in the aggregate, if I ask 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, I start to kind of get a vibe, right? There's no harm in that. Matter of fact, it's a good idea. It helps you focus on your audience and your messaging so it comes across. So, again, a great place for you to is with Fiverr, Canva, and Team. I'm going to talk about those here in just a minute. Now, here's a quick thought exercise for you. I saw this kind of in a magazine. I expanded on it. It's a great thought exercise. For those of you that know me, I love mental push-ups. Okay, sometimes you just got to go to the gym and think things through. Okay, here's a great thought exercise for you to help you determine your UVP and if your WIIFM makes sense. Who are you, man? You have to ask yourself who you are. What are your core principles and values? Why are you doing this? What inspired you to build a business? Why do you want to offer your services, your particular UVP, to your target audience? What makes you unique? Ask yourself, what is your professional culture and style? Look, I use the word man and cool and stuff like that. That's just how I talk. It's who I am. Can I talk like I went to college? Probably. But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I try to just let that speak for itself. It's part of my professional culture style. What do you want to come to mind when somebody hears your business name? Think about that for a second. How does just the sound of your name resonate with somebody? How do you want people to feel when they think about your business? Look, feelings count. And everybody says that emotions don't belong in business. I want to call BS on that. You have to consider how people are going to feel about your brand when they see your imaging and your message. Okay? Emotions drive response before our thoughts do. So think about how that imaging is going to make somebody feel about you. And it's not like they're going to hate you or anything like that, but is it going to elicit a feeling of warmth, of coldness, of corporate America, or the person next door, or what is it that's coming across in terms of their feelings? And how do you want people to describe you? If somebody sees your logo and image, maybe has a conversation with you, and then they start to tell somebody else about you, is there going to be some consistency between what your messaging was, what they heard, and then what they shared? If there is consistency, then you communicated well. If there's inconsistency, then you probably want to go back in there and tune up your message just a little bit. But these questions here will really help you explore what your UVP is and what your business is going to look like in the future.